Nerdrotic.com.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is a Zack Snyder movie made for Zack Snyder fans by Zack Snyder. If you're a fan of Zack Snyder's work, you're going to love this film. If you're not, you're going to hate it. If you're not a fan of Warner Brothers, you're going to be absolutely confirmed in your beliefs. Remember, Justice League is what they wanted released. For me, anyway, the DCEU is the answer to a multiple choice question. All of the above. So here we are, through an unlikely set of circumstances and pure fan will, Zack Snyder's Justice League has arrived. There is no better time than now for the DC Universe, the DCEU, or the Snyderverse, whatever you want to call it, to steal Marvel's glory. They are obviously misstepping, more on that later, but we know they won't, because the true established villain of the DCEU is Warner Brothers. It was yesterday, it will be today, and it will be in the future. You can always count on them to make the wrong move. And I promise you, Warner Brothers will make the wrong move, despite some of my criticisms of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I'm going to call Justice League from here on out. There is a foundation here that you can move forward with, including the content's biggest star, Henry Cavill. Now, I can't defend this film as high art or great cinema, but I also don't think it's your average dumb superhero film. I think it's pretty good. It's fun. It's semi-epic. If you grab some popcorn, turn off your brain, and you just watch some superheroes occasionally beating the crap out of each other and beating the crap out of some bad guys. I think what made this work for me is I look at it as an Elseworlds tale. What's an Elseworlds tale, normies? It's a story outside of established canon, something DC does, something that makes them very different from Marvel. I know to most normies, it's all just a bunch of men in tights and women in tights, but there are distinct differences between the two companies. Unfortunately, Warner Brothers doesn't quite understand that. It starts out with the death of Superman, which wakes up the mother boxes, which most normies are not going to know, and they're going to think are just a ripoff of the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Gems, or stones as they're called in the MCU. Just in case you don't know, the mother boxes precede them. Gone is the opening montage with some pop singer mumbling her way through a cover. Can we please retire that trend forever? Gone is the homeless guy with the sign that said, "I tried, we got what you meant, Joss Whedon, and you failed." Gone is the skinhead. Gone is Batman getting a massage from Wonder Woman. Gone is the Whedon speak. Gone is the Russian family and the color red that was splashed over that entire movie. Gone is that god-awful metallic scrotum that's on top of Steppenwolf's head. And gone is Henry Cavill's CGI'd face that looks like botched plastic surgery. This is a vast improvement on the theatrical version while sharing the same plot and being a completely different film. Now, I know a lot of people have said that Cyborg is the most improved character in the Justice League based on what they saw in Justice League, and I would agree with that. But I'll take it one step further. Ray Fisher has a legitimate beef. No matter what side you fall on with the Joss Whedon Ray Fisher thing, the side I fall on, I think Ray could have handled it more like a man, and I think Joss Whedon is an asshole. His character was the most butchered. I thought it was pretty cool how Zack Snyder displayed his powers. It was kind of Tron meets the Matrix. It said that he can launch the world's nuclear arsenal with a thought. The only minor complaint I have is his look. There's too much gadgetry and too much going on his bodysuit or whatever the hell they have going on. It reminds me of the Transformers. It just looked like a gobbledygook mess. And when they did Bumblebee, they went for a more retro look. They need to do the same thing with Cyborg. Another thing that needs to be retired from Hollywood is the bad dad trope, and we do have a little bit of it, but there is some sort of redemption, and I was okay with it. As far as Ray Fisher's performance, it's not stand out. I can't say that about any character in this film, but everyone was served better by the 4-hour runtime, which I didn't have a problem with. As a comic book fan, I love Ben Affleck as Batman. He is the most comic book accurate Bruce Wayne and Batman. This is the most comic book accurate costume. As far as the look is concerned, it kind of ends there when you consider all of the guns and the kill count. But as an Elseworlds Batman that's an homage to Frank Miller, I was fine with it within this story. The greatest tragedy out of this is we're not going to see what Ben Affleck's take would have been on the character, considering he's one of the few people in Hollywood who's actually cracked open a few comic books. Essentially, he's Coach Batman, but I loved the use of technology in this, and yeah, it was over the top. It was balls to the wall. It's essentially a 4-hour and 2-minute music video with a lot of slow motion. Without that, it probably would have been about 3 hours. Oh, and give me more of J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. Again, the casting is spot on when it comes to Batman. Jeremy Irons is a great Alfred as well. Now, this is purely my speculation, but I believe Ezra Miller was a studio cast and not one cast by anyone who has any knowledge of comic books, because the first thing I would ask of any actor who's playing the Flash is, can you run? He runs like he's in a synchronized swimming event. As much as I do not like Ezra Miller and his casting in this role, again, the character is vastly improved with the runtime, and I have to admit that the single best superhero scene in this movie belongs to Flash when he saves Iris West. That is, it's a beautiful scene. It is. Wonder Woman comes out looking much better in this film, and it's because of Zack Snyder's egalitarian approach towards putting together the Justice League. She's just one of the guys. Nobody is de-emphasized for her. She isn't emphasized over anyone else. She's Wonder Woman. She doesn't need to be. She is a very well-established character. She is part of the holy trinity of DC. She has a comic-accurate costume, and her action scenes are spectacular, especially the bank scene, which admittedly did not have much to do with the film, but I loved it. Yes, Gal Gadot may have a little trouble emoting at times, but I don't need a thespian to play Wonder Woman. Yes, there was the scene where she walked up to the little girl and said, "You can be whatever you want to be." Sure, you can be anything except for Wonder Woman. Also gone is this.
Hey, you know what? I don't want to die. I'm young. There's shit that I want to do.
And this, replaced by its original, which gives you a lot more history of the mother box. It gives you an idea of how Cyborg's powers work, and you get a scene with Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid. A major improvement. Jason Momoa's Aquaman is pretty good. I like his Lobo, Peter David take on the character. Now, it's nowhere near the original, but it really works in this film. One of the things they could have cut out was anything with Amber Heard, or maybe replaced her with a completely different actress. And the only thing I could think of when I saw her floating around was this. And this brings us to the biggest actor in this movie and the most underused, Henry Cavill's Superman. Yes, I loved the black costume. Yes, they vastly improved his story, showing his return and his readapting to life. I still would have liked it to have been a little longer, but it worked. The problem is, Henry Cavill has no lines in this. He's barely in it. And when he is in it, he shines. And this is all Warner Brothers' fault. Warner Brothers has always had a Superman problem. They should have a Henry Cavill trilogy in production right now, and it would just make all of the money. And if you're worried about women coming to the theaters, believe me, you won't be able to keep them out. But they are unwilling to make a Clark Kent Superman movie. And yeah, I'm a little pissed knowing that there's a possibility, a very good one, that this is the last time we see Henry Cavill as Superman. You know how ridiculously stupid that is? Do you know how ridiculously stupid it is to have Jar Jar Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates write a Superman film to replace Clark Kent Superman, which is apparently what they're going to do and run with? Good luck with that. Another derivative of a derivative of a derivative character. That is progress. The biggest improvement to the story, to this film, to the tone is the villains. Steppenwolf, it's taken far more seriously. He looks 1,000 times better. Sure, the CGI is dodgy at times, especially on Themyscira. He is on Earth to try to find and unite the three mother boxes to get back in the good graces of Darkseid, if he has any good graces. Maybe if you cut back on a little bit of the slow motion, especially in that one scene where the Justice League was just kind of standing there and they weren't really doing much, you could have fit in a scene with Steppenwolf being banished by Darkseid. I think that was necessary. And this brings us to Darkseid. Ray Porter plays him to perfection. Sure, I would have liked him to be the main villain in this. I see they were setting things up. Yes, he did overshadow Steppenwolf. Yes, it was great seeing Desaad and Granny Goodness, a character I never thought I would see on screen. And we did get a decent amount of Darkseid, and we had plenty of Darkseid money shots. I love the battle in antiquity with Zeus and Ares and the Amazons fighting Darkseid. Essentially, Darkseid wants to take over the multiverse, and he needs the anti-life equation to do that. Now, I would have liked some explanation why he forgot that the anti-life equation was on Earth, but if you visit 100,000 worlds, you can't be expected to remember all of them. And the nightmare scene was cool. Even the interaction between Jared Leto's Joker, which is much improved, but not perfect, and Ben Affleck's Batman, I had no problem with him dropping the F-bomb at all. It was brilliant seeing Deathstroke. I still don't like Jesse Eisenberg as Luthor, but again, that might grow on me in time if it's ever given time. I just couldn't stand Amber. And if you look at the bright side, at least we're getting Hot Toys, Black Costume, Superman, Nightmare, Batman, and maybe a 1/6 scale Darkseid. Did Justice League take itself too seriously at times? Was it a bit self-indulgent and overindulgent? Yes. Despite its flaws, it's still the best superhero film we're going to see this year. And it's going to greatly benefit from being shot a few years ago before Hollywood completely lost its mind. I don't even think Zack Snyder would have shot it this way today. And for that, I am grateful. It wasn't filled with identity politics. It wasn't woke. It wasn't filled with intersectional feminism. It was just a superhero movie, a reminder of better days. And as I was recording the end of this video, the news has come down that this is probably the last time we're going to see Henry Cavill as Superman, Ben Affleck as Batman, and Jared Leto as Joker. That about wraps it up for the Snyderverse. But we're very excited about the plans we have for all the multi-dimensional DC characters that are being developed right now. And that plan included Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84. When it comes to the DCEU, WB and DC's biggest mistake was trying to play catch up with Marvel instead of playing to their strengths, being what they are. Occasionally we get a Joker, but more often than not, we get a Birds of Prey. You can see that Zack Snyder was trying to play to some of DC's strengths. You don't see the realization of his vision, but you definitely see where he was going. And whether you like it or not, you have to admit it's better than what's coming down the road. Everyone get ready for the DC Jar Jar U. The story outside the film is more compelling than the film itself. There was a lot of highs and some lows. Zack Snyder's tragedy with his family. Obviously, this is a passion project that might act as a healing process for him. And in turn, it made a lot of fans happy. While I was not part of that movement, I fully supported it because I am a fan too. And we get so few wins these days, and a corporation rarely listens to us. Now, I know this corporation had motivations, and I've known they've shown their true colors more than once. They are a corporation in Hollywood. They don't care about anybody or anything. They will pretend to make a few bucks, but that's about it. And they won't even do that well. So as much as I like Justice League, I can't recommend HBO Max. It's unreliable. The quality is terrible. My movie died out about 4 times. I'd wait for it to come out on Blu-ray, buy it secondhand, or find another way to watch it if you can't wait. As far as the drama is concerned, the bottom line, and this goes for yours truly, everyone on this platform, Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers. The fans will be heard and they will be respected, or they won't be around. In closing, I was very fortunate to be asked on a Zack Snyder's Justice League live stream to raise awareness for AFSP and raise well over $100,000, which was put on by Geeks and Gamers. If Warner Brothers will not publicly thank all the people who donated, I will. Thank you. You have my eternal gratitude.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing the videos. Also, leave a comment below. It really does help independent content creators. I will see you in the next video.